we're gonna have to do something, figure something out.
Yeah.
I'm not going down without a fight.
The reality TV show Gold Rush, aired on the Discovery Channel, chronicles the high-stakes adventures of several gold mining crews as they hunt for fortune in the rough terrains of Alaska and Canada. Among the most notable personalities featured on the show are Parker Schnabel, a young but seasoned mining veteran, and Fred Lewis, a former military man turned gold miner. One of the most memorable moments in the show, and a point of considerable tension, is when Fred Lewis awkwardly approaches Parker for a job on his crew. The moment is filled with emotion as Fred faces the stark reality of his mining dream slipping away, and he turns to Parker, someone who has been successful in the same industry, for potential help. The interaction between Fred and Parker is not just a simple request for employment. It reflects the deeper challenges and pressures of the mining business, as well as the personal dynamics between two very different individuals. The background of Fred Lewis. Fred Lewis's journey in gold mining began relatively recently, especially compared to Parker Schnabel, who grew up in the industry. Fred's background as a Green Beret in the U.S. military equipped him with leadership skills, discipline, and the ability to work in tough environments. However, as many viewers have seen, gold mining is an entirely different beast.
So we're going to pull that pay from last season that's accessible and get as much fed to the plant as possible.
Fred first appeared on Gold Rush during its later seasons after being introduced by Parker Schnabel, who had seen potential in Fred. Unlike Parker, Fred came into the mining business without deep experience in the field, though he was driven by a sense of purpose. His mission was not just to strike it rich, but to give military veterans a new mission by involving them in his mining operations. This goal resonated with Fred's sense of duty and his desire to provide meaning and purpose to fellow veterans. However, Fred's mining ventures have not been as successful as he hoped. Season after season, he faced numerous setbacks, ranging from equipment failures to financial struggles that have gradually eroded his prospects. This set the stage for his awkward encounter with Parker. Parker Schnabel, the mining prodigy. In contrast to Fred, Parker Schnabel grew up in the mining business. His grandfather, John Schnabel, was a legendary miner, and Parker inherited both his mining claim and his work ethic. Parker started his own operation at a young age, and despite his youth, he quickly became one of the most successful miners on the show.
I don't care if you guys hate my guts.
Right.
I need a little respect.
Parker's approach to mining is methodical and business-oriented. He is known for being tough on his crew, demanding high productivity, and always pushing for more gold. Over the years, Parker has built a reputation for being efficient, ambitious, and even ruthless when it comes to maximizing his profits. This makes him a formidable figure in the world of Gold Rush and, in many ways, the opposite of Fred Lewis, whose focus is more on community and purpose than just financial success. The lead-up to Fred's request. In the episode where Fred approaches Parker for a job, Fred's operation is on the verge of collapse. He has run into numerous issues at his mining site in El Dorado, and nothing seems to be working out. Despite his best efforts, Fred finds himself out of options. As he faces the grim reality of potentially having to abandon his mining operation, Fred is left with few choices. It is at this point that he decides to turn to Parker for help. This moment is significant because it highlights the desperation that can come with gold mining. The industry is notoriously tough, with narrow profit margins, high operating costs, and unpredictable yields. Many miners, including Fred, enter the field with dreams of striking it rich, only to find that the reality is far more brutal. For Fred, who has invested so much time and energy into his operation, reaching out to Parker is not just about looking for work. It's about saving his dream from collapse. The awkward conversation. When Fred finally sits down with Parker, the tension is palpable. Fred starts by acknowledging the role Parker has played in his mining journey, admitting that it was Parker who first got him into gold mining. This sets a somber tone, as Fred reflects on how far he has come, but also on how much he is now struggling.
Yep. Yeah, I guess I'm more coming here just to kind of see what you think is our best move, honestly.
If you can't find economical ground and it's not working, it doesn't make sense to beat your head against the wall, right?
Fred's request for advice initially seems like a way to seek guidance from someone more experienced. However, it quickly becomes clear that Fred is also hoping for a job. He mentions his skills with operating heavy machinery, particularly on rock trucks and excavators, and implies that he would be willing to take a job on Parker's crew if it meant staying in the mining business. The awkwardness of this request stems from several factors. First, there is the personal dynamic between Fred and Parker. While Parker has helped Fred in the past, their relationship has never been particularly close. Parker is a no-nonsense leader who expects results, and Fred's struggles with his own operation may not inspire confidence in Parker. Second, there is the logistical issue of crew size. As Parker explains to Fred, his crew is already full, and adding more people would not be practical. This is a crucial point, as gold mining is not just about hard work. It's about managing resources efficiently. Overstaffing a crew can eat into profits, and Parker, as a seasoned operator, knows this all too well. Thus, while Fred may have hoped for a lifeline, Parker's response is grounded in the harsh realities of running a gold mining operation. The role of failure in mining and life. One of the overarching themes in Fred Lewis's conversation with Parker Schnabel is failure, an inescapable part of life, and especially of gold mining. Fred's experience highlights the stark reality that no matter how dedicated or hard-working one may be, failure is often a part of the equation. This isn't just a mining lesson. It's a universal lesson about the unpredictability of any venture that involves risk and reward.
We're gonna have to do something. Figure something out.
Yeah.
I'm not going down without a fight.
In gold mining, success is based on numerous factors, many of which are beyond the miner's control. The quality of the ground, the unpredictable yield of gold, mechanical failures, and even weather conditions can all significantly impact the outcome of a mining season. These are factors that miners, no matter how skilled or experienced, can never fully predict or prepare for. Fred's plea for a job is, in many ways, a humble acknowledgement of the limits of control he has in this environment. He is used to dealing with high-pressure situations, having come from a military background, but gold mining presents a different kind of pressure, one where success is not guaranteed by strategy or effort alone. For Fred, the conversation with Parker marks a moment of self-awareness, understanding that no matter how much effort he puts in, there are forces at play that may prevent him from succeeding in this field. This recognition of failure is part of the emotional arc of the show Gold Rush itself. Many miners featured on the show have faced failure multiple times, yet they return season after season, motivated by the possibility of finding success. This drive to push forward despite past setbacks is at the heart of the miner's psyche. For Fred, the willingness to swallow his pride and seek out a job from Parker, even after struggling with his own operation, is a testament to that drive. Failure does not mean the end. Rather, it's an opportunity to adapt, grow, and reevaluate one's path. Fred's dilemma. Fred's request to join Parker's crew reflects the larger dilemma he faces: what to do when a dream is slipping away. For Fred, gold mining was more than just a job. It was a chance to build something meaningful.
Swing motor. Swing motor is what helps the turret move. With that down, we can't use it. We can't do anything with it.
His goal of helping veterans through his mining operation was noble, and he had poured his heart and soul into it. However, as the season progressed, it became clear that Fred was facing unconquerable obstacles. Gold mining, like many other industries, is unforgiving. Equipment breaks down, ground yields less than expected, and costs quickly pile up. Fred's operation had encountered all of these challenges, and by the time he approached Parker, he was running out of options. At the same time, Fred's sense of pride and determination made the situation even more difficult. Admitting failure, especially after investing so much, is never easy. Fred's conversation with Parker is as much about seeking employment as it is about struggling with the possibility that his mining dream may be coming to an end. Veteran experience and its impact on Fred's approach. Fred's approach to mining, and indeed to life, is heavily influenced by his experience as a Green Beret in the U.S. military. The leadership and teamwork skills he acquired during his service have been valuable assets in his mining career. In particular, Fred's mission to employ veterans in his mining operation reflects his desire to provide a sense of purpose to those who have served their country. He knows firsthand how challenging it can be for veterans to transition to civilian life, and his operation was designed to give them a new mission. However, this noble goal adds a layer of complexity to Fred's predicament. While Parker's primary focus is on the business of gold mining and profitability, Fred's motivations are more multifaceted. He is not just mining for gold, he is mining for a greater cause. This makes the potential failure of his operation all the more devastating. For Fred, failure doesn't just mean financial loss. It means letting down the veterans who have looked to his operation as a source of purpose and belonging.
And I don't
What
know
do you
if
mean
it's,
it doesn't
like if they
work
overfeed
right?
the wash plant half a scoop,
What happens?
it overflows the sluice boxes right away.
This distinction between Fred's approach and Parker's approach to mining is important in understanding the tension in their conversation. Parker, while sympathetic to Fred's mission, ultimately runs his mining operation as a business. For Parker, profitability is of utmost importance, and he must make decisions based on what is best for his crew and operation. Fred, on the other hand, is juggling both the financial demands of mining and the emotional weight of providing for his veteran team. This adds another layer of pressure to Fred's already dire situation. In many ways, Fred's conversation with Parker is not just about asking for a job, it's about reconciling two different worldviews. Parker's perspective, rooted in efficiency and business acumen, contrasts with Fred's more holistic approach, which balances purpose with profit. The conversation between the two miners illustrates the different ways in which people approach their work and the different values that guide their decisions. For Parker, Fred's request puts him in an uncomfortable position. On the one hand, Parker has always been supportive of fellow miners, especially those he sees potential in. He helped Fred get into gold mining in the first place, and there is undoubtedly a sense of responsibility there. However, Parker is also a shrewd businessman, and he knows that taking on more crew members, especially during tough times, could jeopardize his own operation. Parker's response to Fred is pragmatic. He explains that his crew is already large, and that adding more people would not make financial sense. At the same time, he acknowledges the difficulty of Fred's situation and tries to be empathetic. Parker does not outright reject Fred's request, but he does make it clear that there is little he can do to help.
That's not working. It doesn't make sense to beat your head against the wall, right?
No, that's the thing. Gold mining is something I really enjoy.
This moment reveals a lot about Parker's leadership style. While he is known for being tough, Parker is also fair and realistic. He understands the pressures Fred is facing, but he also knows that his first priority must be to his own operation. This balance of empathy and pragmatism is what has made Parker such a successful miner, even at a young age. Fred's approach to Parker also sheds light on the broader context of the gold mining industry. Gold mining is a high-risk, high-reward venture, and for every successful miner like Parker, there are countless others who struggle to make ends meet. The costs of running a mining operation are enormous, from purchasing and maintaining heavy equipment to paying for fuel, labor, and land leases. On top of that, the yield from the ground is never guaranteed, and many miners end up spending more than they make. This harsh reality is part of what makes Gold Rush such a compelling show. Viewers are drawn to the drama and tension of seeing miners battle the elements, their equipment, and the ground itself in pursuit of gold. For Fred, this pursuit has been particularly challenging as he entered the industry later in life and without the deep experience that many of his fellow miners possess. Moreover, Fred's mission to provide veterans with a sense of purpose adds another layer of complexity to his situation. While noble, this mission also adds pressure to succeed, as Fred feels responsible not just for himself, but for the veterans he employs. This sense of responsibility weighs heavily on him as he ponders the possibility of failure. Leadership and team dynamics. One of the central themes in the interaction between Fred and Parker is leadership. Both men have led mining crews, but their styles and experiences are vastly different. Parker, having grown up in the industry, is confident and decisive.
People don't realize that they're driving around a big machine, you know? It's like, those trucks are not small.
He knows how to push his crew to achieve maximum efficiency, and he is not afraid to make tough decisions when necessary. Fred, on the other hand, brings a more compassionate and mission-driven approach to leadership. His focus on helping veterans has shaped his leadership style, but it has also made his operation more vulnerable to setbacks. Fred's leadership is less about maximizing profits and more about creating a supportive environment for his team, which is admirable, but also difficult to sustain in a cutthroat industry like gold mining. The conversation between Fred and Parker highlights these differences in leadership styles. While Parker's crew is running efficiently, Fred's operation is struggling, and this contrast underscores the challenges of leading a mining crew in such a demanding industry. The emotional toll of gold mining. Gold mining is not just physically demanding, it takes an emotional toll on the miners and their families. This is particularly true for Fred, whose mining journey has been filled with ups and downs. The stress of trying to keep his operation afloat, combined with the pressure of his mission to help veterans, has clearly weighed heavily on him. Fred's approach to Parker is not just a request for a job, it's a moment of vulnerability. Admitting that his operation is failing is difficult for Fred, especially given how much he has invested emotionally in the project. This emotional aspect of gold mining is something that Gold Rush often highlights, as viewers see the personal sacrifices that miners make in pursuit of their dreams. For Fred, the decision to approach Parker is also a recognition that he may need to step back from his mining venture. This is a painful realization for anyone who has poured their heart and soul into a project, and it adds an emotional depth to the conversation between Fred and Parker.
Guys, we got to make this happen. You know, that goal we set's pretty aggressive, and we're not going to hit it if we just sit around and wait for things to get fixed. So yeah, let's adapt.
The importance of mentorship in mining. Another key aspect of Fred's interaction with Parker is the theme of mentorship. Throughout his mining journey, Fred has looked to Parker as a mentor figure. It was Parker who initially introduced Fred to gold mining and helped him get his start in the industry. For Fred, this connection is deeply meaningful, and it's one of the reasons he seeks Parker's advice when his own operation is struggling. Mentorship plays a crucial role in the world of Gold Rush. Mining is a tough business, and having someone to guide you through the challenges can make all the difference. For Parker, mentorship has been a significant part of his own success. His grandfather, John Schnabel, was his mentor, teaching him the ins and outs of mining from a young age. John's wisdom and experience helped Parker build the foundation for his own successful mining career, and Parker has since become a mentor to others, including Fred. However, the dynamics of mentorship can be complicated, especially when the mentee is facing failure. For Fred, asking for Parker's advice and potentially a job is not just a practical move, it's a recognition of Parker's success and expertise. But it's also an uncomfortable position for Fred, as it forces him to admit that he is struggling and needs help. This dynamic adds another layer of tension to their conversation. Parker, for his part, approaches the situation with empathy, but also with a clear understanding of the limits of what he can offer. While he appreciates Fred's respect and acknowledges the role he has played in Fred's mining journey, Parker is also pragmatic. He understands that adding another crew member, especially during a challenging season, may not be feasible. This balance between mentorship and practicality is a hallmark of Parker's leadership style.
I would hate to guess what this place is worth.
Mas eu posso falar para ele.
Então fala.
400 milhões de dólares.
$400 million.
In the broader context of gold mining, mentorship is crucial for survival. The industry is full of unknowns, and having someone with experience to guide you can make the difference between success and failure. Fred's relationship with Parker, while strained at this moment, is a testament to the importance of seeking advice from those who have been through the challenges before. Even though Fred may not get the outcome he desires, his willingness to seek out guidance from Parker shows his recognition of the value of mentorship. The gold rush industry and its challenges. Gold mining is notoriously difficult, with many obstacles standing between miners and their potential fortunes. The industry is full of risks, from mechanical failures to environmental challenges, and miners must navigate these difficulties if they hope to succeed. One of the key challenges in gold mining is the unpredictability of the ground. Miners can spend months or even years prospecting, only to find that the ground yields little to no gold. This is one of the issues that Fred faces in his operation at El Dorado. Despite his best efforts, the ground he has been working on has not produced the results he had hoped for, leaving him in a dicey financial situation. In addition to the challenges of the ground itself, miners must also contend with the high costs of running an operation. Equipment, fuel, labor, and land leases all add up, and if the gold yield doesn't meet expectations, miners can quickly find themselves in financial trouble. This is one of the reasons Parker is so focused on efficiency in his operation. He understands that in order to make a profit, he must keep his costs down and his productivity up. For Fred, the financial pressures of running a mining operation are compounded by his mission to employ veterans.
I feel like we're overcommitted at this point, and we gotta bite the bullet, get it fixed. The big problem right now is we're running out of pay. We're gonna have to shut down.
While his goal is noble, it also adds another layer of complexity to his business. Fred's operation is not just about making money, it's about providing a sense of purpose for his team. This makes the potential failure of his operation all the more devastating, as it impacts not just Fred, but the veterans who have come to rely on him. The gold mining industry is also subject to the whims of the market. Gold prices fluctuate, and miners must constantly monitor these changes to determine whether their operations are financially viable. Even if a miner strikes gold, the value of that gold is determined by external factors that are beyond their control. This adds another layer of uncertainty to an already risky business. Fred's future in mining. As Fred leaves the conversation with Parker, the future of his mining career is uncertain. While Parker does not offer him a job, the two part on good terms, and Fred is left to contemplate his next move. Whether Fred continues to pursue gold mining or decides to shift his focus elsewhere, the encounter with Parker marks a turning point in his journey. Fred's story is a reminder that success in gold mining is never guaranteed, no matter how hard one works or how noble their intentions are. The industry is unforgiving, and even the most determined miners can find themselves facing failure. However, Fred's resilience and determination, as well as his commitment to his mission, suggest that he will find a way forward, whether in mining or another endeavor. At its heart, Gold Rush is a show about more than just gold mining. It's about the human stories behind the miners. Fred Lewis's awkward conversation with Parker Schnabel is a perfect example of this. It's a moment that highlights not just the challenges of the gold mining industry, but also the emotional and psychological toll that those challenges can take on the miners themselves.
Once from combat, once from gold mining.
Yeah, I know, right? Where's my Purple Heart?
I know, we should have a gold heart. It is dangerous.
Fred's approach to Parker is a moment of vulnerability as he deals with the possibility of failure and the uncertainty of his future. It's a moment that resonates with anyone who has ever faced a difficult decision or a moment of doubt in their career. At the same time, Parker's response reflects the balance that successful leaders must strike between empathy and pragmatism. In the end, Fred's conversation with Parker is a reminder that even in the toughest industries, the human element is always at play. The miners on Gold Rush are not just chasing gold, they are chasing dreams, purpose, and a sense of accomplishment. And while the path to success is often full of obstacles, it is the perseverance, resilience, and willingness to seek help that ultimately define the miners and their journey.